Hello YouTube and welcome to the comic book channel. Today I'm going to be talking about a new book that came out this past Wednesday, which was July 11th, 2018 by Vault Comics, and that book is this book here, Submerged #1. As you can see, I have this fancy new book holding apparatus that was suggested by a viewer slash commenter on one of my videos that said it might be a little less distracting and a lot better if I had something to showcase the book instead of holding it myself. So I'm testing that out right now, so if you don't mind, in the comments below, let me know what you think about it and if it works or not. So moving on to the book, as I said, it's out this past Wednesday from Vault Comics. The book is Submerged 1. It's written by the writer of the recent Black Mask book, The Wilds, which is an awesome series, really cool. Check it out if you haven't. She's also worked on quite a few things at DC, some stuff at Image as well. So she's definitely not like a brand new creator, but definitely an up and coming creator who's really writing some really interesting stuff, I believe. And the art is by, sorry, I won't be able to say her name, but Lisa something. But she was the artist on Long Lost, which I have mixed feelings about the writing on that series, but the art is beautiful. Really great art. Really, really good art. So they've collaborated together on this book here, Submerged #1, and I'll just go ahead and jump into the synopsis of the book. So it kind of starts out with our lead character here, who, for purposes of me not being able to pronounce names at all, I'm just going to call Ellie. I saw on the Vault website the solicit and description for this book. We're calling her Ellie, so I feel like if Vault can say it, then I can say it too. So Ellie, our lead character here, is just kind of like getting home from work or something, or like a long day or whatever. She's at home. She's heating up like a pot pie or something in the microwave, listening to voicemails. She seems like she's a pretty popular lady. She's got quite a few voicemails. A lot of people are trying to get a hold of her. One of those being, I guess, her mother, who's kind of, telling her like, hey, it's been so long since I've seen you. I just want to see you. Sorry about what happened. All this stuff. It doesn't say what happened, of course, because we'll have to keep reading along for that. But right off the bat that something has happened. So we know that, Ellie's got some people trying to get a hold of her. We know that something happened in her family, at least. So like I said, from there, she just wants to unwind, have like a relaxing day at home, eat some pot pie. She rolls up a joint, and I believe it's a joint. Looks like a joint. Could be a rolled up cigarette, but I believe she pulled weed out of her purse, so I'm going to go with a joint. And just relaxes to smoke that and listen to the rest of her voicemails. But of course she's interrupted by a voicemail left by her brother, and her brother's in trouble, and he's really sorry about whatever happened or whatever too, but he's in big trouble now, and he feels like someone's following him and he needs some help. So from there we see that there's some intercuts from the past woven in, and we see kind of her family dynamic, her mom and her dad and her brother, these flashbacks where her parents are upset because she was supposed to be watching out for her brother, and this happened, and then next up, she was supposed to be watching out for her brother, and this happened, and then they're older, and she's supposed to be watching out for him, and this happened, and it's all kind of blamed on her. It's all her responsibility, whatever happens to her brother. So it seems kind of like her brother is like a little bit of a troublemaker, but somehow she is responsible for all of his actions. It doesn't really get into the reasoning why that is. Maybe there's not going to be a reason, but that is what the issue alludes to. So from there she gets up to go find her brother. She's running around, she finds his cell phone broken on the ground, and passes a subway. Now, I should mention here too. Sorry, I left that out. Everything's closed up. All the businesses are closed up. You don't see anybody wandering around in the streets or anything because, like, the biggest hurricane ever, or storm, or whatever it is about to touch down in like an hour, and it's going to be huge, and it's the biggest one they've ever faced in New York, or they faced in a really long time. So nobody's out. The subway's supposedly closed down. There's signs on it that says you'll be arrested if you're caught in it, and all that. So anyways, of course, she's got to go, find her brother. She finds the phone. She, jumps down to the subway. There's, she doesn't see any cars running in the subway or anything, but then she runs into who she believes is like three homeless guys, and they kind of, she asks them like, hey, you got to help me find my brother. Have you seen my brother? And they kind of tell her like, yeah, he passed through this way. It's all really vague, and the way they're speaking and their dialogue and stuff is very different and very vague in some spots, and that's very intentional, of course. But they pass her some tokens and tell her to go, basically, okay, go find your brother. Now they've got a dog with them, and the dog seems to side with the girl, so that's what makes them, side with Ellie, and that's what sort of makes helps them decide that they're going to help her or whatever. So they send the dog with her. She's got the dog with her, and she's gonna go find her brother. So she gets on this car in the subway. Sorry, I'm not from somewhere that has a subway. I don't know what you call them. Do you call it a train? Do you call it a car? Like, what do you call a subway vehicle thing? I don't know. I'll probably think of the word after I finish this video, but for now I'm just going to sound like an idiot and keep calling it a car. So she gets in the car and hands the driver, whatever, her token. She tries to hand him all three, and he says he'll only be taking one. She'll need the other three for something else. So from there we get some more of these flashbacks. We see that her brother, whose name is Angel, sorry I didn't say that before, was beaten up really badly, when they were younger, and he's in trouble, whenever they get back home to their parents, he's in trouble for that, until kind of she, starts telling a lie to her parents, saying that she was, getting harassed by these guys, and he had to step in and beat them up. And of course, really what happened was, it was the other way around. He was getting harassed by some guys, and she had to beat them up. So we don't really know what the deal with that is, but that's what happens in that flashback. So from there we have her we have her see another one of these people, another one of these crazy homeless people, as they're being presented, and that character points her in the direction of a door that she's going to open, and then we have like a centipede, or one of these guys that are on the cover here, whatever you call that bug, speaking and saying, okay, she made a choice, or she chose that door, or whatever. And then we have a very fancy looking dead lady coming out, and that's kind of where the book ends up. I'm sure I'm leaving out some important details, but that's what I recollect from it. And I saw, from Vault Comics, that it was billed as a modern retelling of Orpheus. I think that's how you say it. I don't know. I might sound like a complete idiot again, but the story of the man who lost his wife, whose wife died, and he has to descend into the afterlife and pull her out of it. So that's what this story is. So basically, we already know her brother is some form of dead and some form of in hell, and she's gonna go down there and get him out, and that's being told through this subway system that's going to be submerged in water, I presume. So again, the storm hasn't hit yet, So the cover is a little deceiving. There's no water yet. There's nothing submerged yet that we know of. Possibly until the next issue or so. But that's pretty much the story. Now, to give like a quick review on it, it's going to be a little difficult. I had to research a little bit to give a review because it wasn't a face value review that I could do with this one. The reason being, this book, whenever I tried to look up anything on it or whatever, it was billed a lot as a Latinx, a Latinx queer character. So I didn't see anything in this book that other than some of the dialogue was in Spanish, here and there. Of course, I couldn't read that because I don't speak Spanish. But so I could see where the Latino or Latina, or in this case Latinx, label comes from. I didn't know what that meant. I figured that it was some form of Latino or Hispanic, but I had never heard that term before. So I had to look it up, and what that means is it's a gender neutral form of a Latino person. So I guess that implies that she is not heterosexual, but I'm not too sure. I don't want to sound completely like old man and out of touch, but I probably am. But I did have to research what that meant for the purpose of this story, I guess. I didn't see anything yet that to where that really was integral to the storyline or where that mattered, but possibly that will come up in the next few issues or so. So I'm not discounting that or complaining about it by any means. Just wanted to throw that out there, that was a hurdle that I had to jump over to figure out what was going on, apparently. But in my review of the book, first and foremost, I just want to speak about the art, because the art in here is fantastic, as it was in Long Lost. It's just wonderful, wonderful art. I really like it a lot. It's really, this kind of art like speaks to me in some way. Like I don't know what it is, but I find it very intriguing and very good. It's almost like my second favorite art, if that's a thing, because definitely Mike Allred is my favorite artist, but I could see this artist as right below him. Like, she's so good. She captures these details and draws things in just such a beautiful way that I really feel tells these stories. Like, I could definitely just look at her art all day with no dialogue and be fine with it. It's beautiful, wonderful art. I don't even know what to say about it. I really like it a lot. Now the writing's great. Like, it's I can definitely tell that this writer immerses herself in these worlds and really cares a lot. She really cares what she's writing about. She's not phoning any of this in. And she has, she makes you care as the reader too. Like, I was really, every panel I wanted to know what was going to happen next. The only parts that were a little bit iffy to me were the flashbacks, because I felt like, I don't know exactly what they were going for, but I felt like there was a lot of detail left out of them. I felt like they were too simplistic, and they were too, there was too much on her shoulders, and there wasn't any explanation as to why. Not that you have to explain all that kind of thing in a first issue, but maybe a little like inclination as to, maybe showing a panel where her parents say, now, Angel is your responsibility, and you must watch over him every second of the day, and if anything ever happens to him, we're coming straight to you. Maybe show that and then show those things that happened. Maybe that would help a little bit. But either way, that's the only downside. From there, all the other writing is fantastic. And I really enjoyed this book a lot. I'm really looking forward to seeing what comes up next. So I'm gonna leave it at that. I'm gonna leave it very vague, but just let you guys know that I really enjoyed this book, and I'll give it a 8 out of 10. And those are my thoughts on Submerged #1, out from Vault Comics. Let me know in the comments below what you guys think, especially about my little stand here. and please like and subscribe.